You ever hear that phrase, "This is why we can't have nice things"? Yeah, that. But stretch it out across 50 states, 331 million people, and a government that's basically a Waffle House fight in slow motion. That's modern America. A Waffle House brawl stretched over 50 states. We truly have become a stupid country. Not just misinformed, not just uneducated, but willfully stupid. Our collective intelligence has been surgically replaced with algorithm-fed rage, and our system of government is corrupt beyond repair. At this point, the only revolution we can stomach is when McDonald's changes their menu. And even that feels exhausting.
I'm loving it.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you today?
Not really sure. Thought I wanted a Big Mac, but now it looks like the McRib is back. This really complicates things. I'm not trying to be a downer here. Well, okay, maybe I am. But really take a look around. Our roads are crumbling. Our schools are underfunded. Our healthcare system is so predatory, so cartoonishly evil it might as well be run by Gargamel in a lab coat. Here we are, the richest country in the world, and we get none of the perks. But you know what? Americans don't deserve nice things. There, I said it and I meant it. I'm old enough to remember George W. Bush. Remember him? The human tumbleweed? The war criminal with the folksy accent who once choked on a pretzel and nearly took himself out of the game? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I actually miss that guy. I do. Of course I remember living through his reign of stupid when we thought he was the dumbest president we'd ever see. I recall thinking there was no way the American people would elect someone so painfully ill-informed again. And now I look back on the Bush era fondly. Sure, W was a buffoon, he was terrible for the environment, and he will never be forgiven for the wars or the torture or the Patriot Act. And to our credit, we did resist him, sort of. We rallied, we protested, we made edgy SNL sketches, and we thought we were fighting the good fight. But even at his worst, I never believed he would end democracy. We just had to write him out and hope the next election hit the reset button. And to our credit, we did. We chose hope. And for a while, things were better. Not great, but they got incrementally better, which in a country this size is probably the best that you can hope for. We at least had this feeling things were progressing in the right direction. But then, right around the time we got used to feeling normal again, Donald Trump said, "Hold my Adderall," and descended down a golden elevator like a budget Bond villain and blew the floor out from under us. Again. And this time, now, well, let's just say we may have already had our last free and fair election. Think about that. We elected a narcissistic, megalomaniacal game show host who sells steaks, casinos, and failed real estate schools, and yet somehow he managed to convince millions of red hat-cladded idiots that he was their messiah. Remember, this is a guy whose greatest hits include inspiring a violent insurrection and hawking miracle cures like he's the ShamWow guy for pseudoscience. He literally suggested that we drink bleach to fight COVID-19.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
And all this was happening between claiming that windmills cause cancer and staring directly into a solar eclipse. This man is the final boss of stupid. And somehow, he managed to get elected president of the United States of Stupidity twice. All this while being a convicted felon. So how did we let this happen? Well, it's simple. Americans are stupid. That's not hyperbole, it's just math. Donald Trump is objectively stupid. This is not an opinion, this is measured. The man speaks at a 4th grade level. Look it up, it's documented. He's basically a sentient Facebook comment section in the form of a bloated humanoid cheese puff. The only thing dumber than the things he says are the people who clap like trained seals every time he says them. These people look at a man who has defrauded everyone from the IRS to a class of Trump University dropouts and think, now that guy gets me. And what amazes me the most, what hurts the brain, is how many people still think he's a selfless champion of the working class. These MAGA morons who elected him truly believe that Donald Trump is Bruce Wayne. While anyone with 2 functional brain cells to rub together can look at this guy with his mile-long criminal rap sheet and spot a con artist, MAGA sees a selfless billionaire who turned his back on his own elite class to heed the call of public service. It's comical in its absurdity, but that's what these people believe. Really? This guy? This is who America's white trash class has hitched their wagon to? An orange-painted carnival barker? A con artist who was literally barred from even operating a charity in his home state of New York after defrauding his last one? This is the guy who lost his daddy's money running a casino into the ground and selling slabs of steak through Sharper Image. Remember that one? Trump Steaks? Sold at a gadget store in a mall?
When it comes to great steaks, I've just raised the stakes. The Sharper Image is one of my favorite stores with fantastic products of all kinds. That's why I'm thrilled they agree with me. Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks, and I mean that in every sense of the word. And the Sharper Image is the only store where you can buy them.
How about Trump vodka? Trump water, anyone? Trump Airlines? And of course the infamous Atlantic City casinos. Really, casinos. A business model where people just hand you their money and leave. But they're all failures. Even his scams go bankrupt. Donald Trump's only successful business has been selling Chinese-made hats to morons. You could argue he's got the Midas touch. That is, if everything Midas touch turned into hot, steaming piles of shit. And now he's doing it to our democracy. Hell, the only reason this taco-tittied motherfucker is rich at all is because his daddy gave him a small loan of $413 million in the 1980s, which would be the equivalent of $1.7 billion with a B today, and he still managed to bankrupt it. And yet the myth persists that he's a smart businessman, a stable genius.
I'm a very stable genius.
A patriot. Just a good old billionaire taking one for the team. A traitor to his own class only to heed the call of public service and save us plebes. From what exactly? I'm not sure. Drag queens and wokeness? Drag queens like Rudy Giuliani and JD Vance? Call me Ashley Furniture, big boy.
It's because he fucked his couch. Get it?
But somehow that's their guy, and this is where the stupidity metastasizes. The idea that we need to run government like a business. That's the kind of idea that sounds smart, if you're dumb. Because government isn't a business. It doesn't exist to make a profit. It's not supposed to cut costs by axing services people depend on. Government is the thing you pay for with your taxes so society doesn't collapse into a Mad Max reboot. Government is the thing we buy together to ensure we all have roads, schools, emergency services, libraries, food inspections, you know, civilization. If you want your country to be profitable, just know, profit in a business comes from cutting costs. In government, that means gutting public services, selling off public land and defunding every institution that makes this place even remotely livable. All while handing billionaires another tax cut so they can afford to buy a 4th yacht to park next to their 3rd one.
Silly peasant. One can truly never have enough yachts. Now get back to work so that I may have my 4th.
This is the slow corporate homicide of democracy. But this is what you get when you believe government is supposed to operate like an Arby's. It's this poison mindset that has affected everything. That the only measure of success is profit. That anything serving the public good is a handout. If you can't afford insulin, you must have made poor life choices. Meanwhile, billion-dollar companies are posting record profits every quarter and still laying off workers, so the stock goes up 0.08% and the CEO gets his 3rd yacht. And speaking of overrated narcissists, let's talk about Elon Musk for a moment, Mr. Doge. Because if Donald Trump is the poster child for political grift, then Elon is Silicon Valley's answer to the same con. This is another guy who slaps his name on other people's innovations like he's Thomas Edison reincarnated, but with worse hair and fewer original ideas. Sound familiar? Let's get one thing straight for the Elon reply guys on Twitter. Elon didn't invent Tesla. He didn't engineer those rockets at SpaceX. He bought into companies, pushed out the actual visionaries, and then started tweeting like a ketamine-addicted Bond villain with a concussion. And somehow he convinced half the country that he's this misunderstood super genius.
This other thing about Elon. He's a super genius that's been f***ed with, okay? And you're dealing with one of the smartest people alive, and that's good. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really fucking corrupt and goofy systems.
So you see, you got smooth brains like Joe Rogan thinking Elon's out here personally designing space elevators in between cage matches with Mark Zuckerberg, and yet none of his grandiose promises ever seem to materialize. Remember the Hyperloop? It's still just a logo on a PowerPoint presentation. Self-driving cars? Mostly just Teslas running red lights and crashing into parked emergency vehicles. Mars colonization? Please, how many rockets does this guy have to blow up before people wake up and realize he's just a Tony Stark cosplayer who's way better at PR than engineering? Super genius? Give me a break. He may cosplay as a neurodivergent Tony Stark, but the last time I checked, being a drug-addicted, narcissistic asshole isn't a symptom of autism. That's just who he is. And saying otherwise is frankly an insult to everyone else on the spectrum. But this isn't really about them. It's about us. America. Once upon a time, we cared about education. We built libraries, invested in public schools, taught civics. Hell, we built entire towns around universities. Now we ban books because they make people feel uncomfortable, and we fire teachers for suggesting maybe slavery was, I don't know, bad. We used to give a damn about the public good. National parks, free museums, public broadcasting. Now if something doesn't have a QR code or a paywall, people assume it's communist propaganda. We were supposed to be the beacon of democracy. The shining city on the hill. At least that's what Mr. Corley told me in high school civics class while his overhead projector wheezed and clicked like it had scenes and shit. He told us we were a nation of laws, how our forefathers were so brilliant and established all these checks and balances on our democracy. We believed in civic duty. But now we've got a Supreme Court sponsored by Hobby Lobby and Chevron rubber stamping fascism one shadow docket at a time. We got Clarence Thomas out here taking luxury yacht trips from billionaires like he's a real housewife of originalism. Disgusting. But yeah, let's talk about our beloved Supreme Court for a minute, or as I like to call it, the 9 unelected lizard people who get to decide if you have rights. This court is a disaster. It's not just conservative, it's corrupt. We have sitting justices accepting luxury vacations, private jets, and real estate deals like they're on a fucking game show. Clarence Thomas alone is basically a loyalty program away from becoming a Hilton Diamond member, thanks to billionaire sugar daddies like Harlan Crow. And yet no consequences, just lifetime appointments and unchecked power. These are the people who gutted voting rights, overturned Roe v. Wade, and gave us Citizens United, which basically just legalized political bribery. Now corporations are people and money is speech.
Corporations are people, my friend.
And you, my friend, are just a background character in a Netflix dystopia with no season 2. And let's not forget Brett, I like beer Kavanaugh.
We drank beer, my friends and I, the boys and girls. Yes, we drank beer. I liked beer, still like beer.
Who cried during his confirmation hearing like a teenage boy who got caught spiking the punch at prom, or Amy Coney Barrett, the Handmaid's Tale cosplayer they rushed onto the bench like she was a Black Friday deal at Hobby Lobby. And while we're at it, let's not adjudicate the court's left-leaning flank of judicial malfeasance either. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, notorious RBG, you liberal icon. Speaking of terrible decisions, you had one job, to retire under Obama. But did you? No, because you had to play Supreme Court Scorsese and die in office like it was your fucking Oscar moment. And what happened? You got replaced by Amy fucking Coney Barrett. Your legacy, your entire life's work, reversed within 5 minutes. Your entire career, speedrun to the trash can. Your legacy is now a cautionary tale about geriatric ego. So yeah, thanks for nothing. Let's move on to the environment, shall we? Because we're subsidizing our own extinction, handing corporations cash to melt the ice caps while we clap because gas is 5 cents cheaper this week. We are literally paying corporations to destroy the planet then acting surprised when Gen Z wants to live off grid and forge mushrooms like their characters in a post-apocalyptic video game. Do you think that's just a vibe? No, my dude. That is survival. Water? You pay for it. Clean air? Give it time. Nestle's probably already beta testing canned oxygen for $4.99 a whiff. The idea of paying to access your own natural resources sounds dystopian until you realize we're already doing it. But maybe the final boss of all this dysfunction is the media. How broken is your news when you're watching a hard-hitting investigation about fossil fuel pollution, immediately followed by a BP commercial with soft piano music and a turtle swimming majestically toward a plastic-free future? I'm watching Wheel of Fortune reruns at 3 p.m. and every other ad is some oil company jerking itself off about how green and ethical it is now. You think ExxonMobil runs those ads to sell you a barrel of crude oil? No. They do it to control the narrative, to make sure the next story doesn't step too hard on their profit margins. And have you ever stopped to wonder why you're seeing glossy feel-good commercials for oil companies during your nightly news break? Like, who exactly is out there impulse buying a barrel of crude during Wheel of Fortune reruns? Oh wow, honey, look, ExxonMobil says they're planting trees now. Let's go fill up the minivan in solidarity. BP's got violins playing over stock footage of a fucking turtle telling me they're investing in algae. Meanwhile, I'm paying $6 a gallon to fill up my '09 Civic with fumes. Do you ever wonder why you're watching an ad for British Petroleum during America's Got Talent? Well, don't bother, because that ad isn't for you. It's for the network. It's a bribe wrapped in B-roll of happy children and solar panels. That airtime buys more than exposure. It buys influence. It buys silence. It buys the editorial restraint of some poor bastard in the newsroom who just got told by a necklace executive in a conference room, "Hey, maybe don't run that segment on BP poisoning the Gulf this week, okay? They just renewed a $10 million ad package to air between Judge Judy and Jeopardy, and we need that check to clear if we're gonna make payroll this quarter." So remember that. When ExxonMobil drops millions on ads during Jeopardy, you think Lester Holt's gonna run an expose about pipeline leaks? Of course not. Journalism isn't journalism anymore. It's corporate PR with the spin cycle. We're being spoon-fed infotainment while Rome burns. Journalism hardly exists anymore. It's mostly vibe curation with corporate sponsorship. It's hostage media. And the ransom is paid in car commercials, pharmaceutical jingles, people's and energy propaganda. You can't speak truth to power if power owns the damn megaphone. Anything that challenges the narrative gets labeled fake news by the very same people who believe JFK Jr. is alive and moonlighting as a background actor at Trump rallies.
Do you see him, Bob? Right there behind the president.
Well, I'll be shit, Martha. Would you look at that?
It's him. It's really him. JFK Jr. as alive as a newborn ox.
Well, that just goes to show you can never doubt Alex Jones.
Ain't that the truth? God bless Mr. Alex Jones.
Amen.
Amen.
Truth teller. The press used to be the fourth estate, but now half the country thinks journalist is just a fancy word for liar.
Mr. President, when are you going to release the Epstein files?
You're a very rude person. You are the enemy of the people.
Did you fuck those kids, Mr. President? Why did you fuck the children?
When you report fake news, you are a rude, terrible person.
One last time, because I'm required to ask, Mr. President. Why did you fuck the kids?
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the...
The right wing spent 40 years screeching about liberal media bias, so now nobody believes anything. Every uncomfortable fact is labeled fake news. Every indictment is a witch hunt. Every expert is a shill for the deep state. You can show someone a video of Trump saying something, literally his face and voice.
I don't think Ivanka would do that inside the magazine, although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
I don't see what's wrong with that. That's what I say about Ellie Mae Jr.
Ew, Dad, gross.
You're disgusting.
And if they don't like it, then they'll look you dead in the eye and say, I don't believe it.
Me neither, baby. Me neither.
It's one of them, deep fakes.
No, you know what it is? It's the AI. It's the robot people that Elon was talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know who else I think is behind this is, George Soros.
Mm-hmm. Could be, baby. Could be.
And that's why I only trust the Fox News.
That's right, baby. It keeps us honest.
We're a country so fried on disinformation, conspiracy, and Mountain Dew Code Red that we literally can't tell reality from satire anymore. How else do we get Donald Trump as president? And you know what? That's how democracy dies. Not with a bang, not with tanks in the streets, but with a shrug. Meh, a meme, an algorithm that pushes you deeper into a hole where facts go to die and Marjorie Taylor Greene starts making sense. And us? We're too tired, too broke, or just too distracted to notice. And that's the grift. Keep the people exhausted, drowning in student debt, choked by medical bills, priced out of housing. Let them fight over Bud Light cans and gas stoves while billionaires buy up all the land and sell us our own oxygen in aluminum cans. You think that's dystopian? Bro, Nestle is already looking into it. So yeah. Americans don't deserve nice things. And even when we do get a nice thing, like student debt relief or a goddamn bike lane, it's met with such irrational rage from the right that you'd think someone tried to tax their guns. Look at this retard mama wearing that helmet riding his bicycle down our street.
Well, would you look at that? What a fool. Ever since they put in this damn bike lane, now we got libtards riding down our street all day, all night.
Yeah, fuck off, libtard. Get out of the road.
Yeah, fuck you, liberal.
Really? This where my tax money's going? Goddamn bike lanes and sex changes for illegal Mexicans?
Ain't that the truth, baby? What this country needs is less bike lanes and more prayer.
You said it best, mama. Amen.
Amen.
Meanwhile, the left is too busy purity testing each other out of existence. We can't even agree on what to call things. Is it progressive? Socialist? Libby do-gooder charity bullshit? I don't know, but I do know myself and the missus passed out soup to the homeless last week, and some guy rode by in a lifted F-250 and threw a Diet Coke out his window and screamed, "Get a job, bums!" We keep getting told America's the greatest country in the world, but what are we actually getting? We're not getting high-speed rail, we're not getting universal health care, we're not getting clean drinking water in parts of Flint or Jackson, we're not getting decent school lunches that don't resemble prison slop, we're not getting transit systems that work, we're not getting wage increases that keep up with inflation, we're not getting any meaningful gun reform, police reform, or climate policy. No meaningful student loan relief, no universal pre-K, paid family leave or elderly care, and no respite for caregivers. But we did get a Space Force, because that's what Americans were screaming for. Please, sir, may I have intergalactic military expansion while I die from medical bankruptcy? Give me a break. But sure, let's talk about the real threats, like gas stoves and whether M&Ms are too woke now. America doesn't deserve nice things because America doesn't want nice things. Nice things require effort, accountability, empathy, and if there's one thing this country hates more than taxes, it's empathy.
Fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The empathy exploit.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term.
So how do we cope? How do we get through the day without turning into a nihilistic puddle? Myself personally, some days I lie on the therapy couch and vent my frustrations to some schmuck I pay a $50 copay to every week to tell me I'm not crazy. Other days I just scream into the void that is social media, knowing full well that the algorithm prefers cat videos to climate warnings. I microwave leftovers. I binge forensic documentaries to distract from the actual crime scenes unfolding in real life. And I talk. Like this. Into a camera. Into a mic. Into the abyss. Because even if America doesn't deserve nice things, maybe it deserves honest things. And if all I can offer is a little honesty laced with sarcasm, then hey, that's better than selling Trump steaks, I suppose. I want to love this country, I do, but I can't keep gaslighting myself into patriotism just because of a Toby Keith song that made me cry in traffic.
Made in America.
Peace out, America. You're exhausting.
I take the floor while the nation crashes. Thoughts and prayers for the fucked up masses. Would they ever know I'm a lunatic fascist? Thoughts and prayers for the fucked up masses. Take the floor while the nation crashes. Thoughts and prayers for the fucked up masses. Will they ever know I'm a lunatic fascist? Thoughts and prayers for the fucked up masses. Bang, bang.